We'll talk about that.
It's quite poor. Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Ian. The channel's all about music and art. And I wasn't really going to do one of these this year, but actually I did a review last year of my visit to Bristol's synth show, or modular synth show, Machina Bristonica. And it sort of polarised people. I thought I was being quite balanced, but because I did 5 pros and 5 cons. Anyway, I went back again this year and they let me in, which is surprising, but then again, I'd buy a ticket. So, and I thought I would reevaluate what I thought about it this year compared to last year. And I'll pop bits and pieces in. So, it was the weekend, so it was Saturday and Sunday. I bought a weekend ticket. Now, I bought my first point of call in the negatives was price, and then we're noisy. We'll get on to noisy. I mean, I will say that I'll put this up, but actually, all of the pros still stand. The fact it's in a good location, you know, there's live performances going on. You can get to meet friends. You get to try out new gear. All of that is brilliant, really. I mean, actually, just before I got onto those cons, I walked from the station. So the train, it's only 26 miles from where I live, but it takes an hour on British Rail. So, but actually the walk from the station, which is 15, 20 minutes, I needed City Mapper to help me, to be fair, because it's not a straightforward, just go walk down this road sort of thing. But I got there fine. I got there by about 10 to 12, and I literally went straight in and went to the first talk of the day, because I planned to go to a couple of talks in the discussion room. So I went to see how immersive audio is changing the way we experience music. So it was predominantly about Dolby Atmos, but there was a mention of things like ambisonics and things like that. I've done quite a lot of work in the past in ambisonics, so I know that method of surround sound, and a little bit in binaural, but the talk was absolutely fascinating. We had a guy from Dolby there, and you can see on the website who was actually there. And that whole talk was great. I then met up with some friends. The only one thing I would say is, and there's no way that the guys behind Machina Bristonica can fix this, but there is constant noise everywhere. I said last year it was really noisy, but even when you're in the talks, there is this quite loudish background noise that you hear from the main area. Now, I think the guys at Machina Bristonica had tried to get a lot of people testing synths and stuff to do it on headphones, and there was lots of headphones around for you to try things. But there is still, you've got, what, I don't know, 1,000 people in there. You're going to have a quite loud bits of conversation, and there are still some sort of synth manufacturers where you can actually, you know, do it. You were trying out the gear and you could hear that sort of element. No, I don't think there's anything you can do with that. And I criticised them last year for no breakout room. I don't think they've got anywhere that they could put a breakout room in. But what they did allow this year, and I wasn't aware that they allowed this last year, but it appeared on the website that you were allowed to go out, and if you needed some quiet, you could leave and then come back in later on, which I thought was a great idea. I didn't use it, but I was told there was a fantastic pub, sort of 3 or 4 minute walk away, an old style British pub where no music and you could just sit and have a drink. I don't know. I think they did food as well on the Sunday. Someone was telling me, but there was somewhere you could go where it's quiet. And actually, opposite that pub was a really nice little park, because I walked through that park on my way back to the railway station. So there were things you could do about the noise, but while you were in Machina Bristonica, everywhere you went there was noise, you know. And I did spend most of my time wearing earplugs, and then occasionally taking them out to have a conversation with people, things like that. I thought that the whole weekend was great, really. My second talk, which was exploring field recordings in electronic music. Now, I've done quite a bit with field recordings. I mean, it was an interesting discussion. Because I've done quite a bit, I have to say I didn't really learn very much about it, but it was interesting to see that the artists that were in the discussion, none of them were saying go out and buy expensive gear to do field recordings. They were all doing it with either their phone or a little Zoom recorder, which is the sort of thing that I've been using for probably the last 10 years. So that's quite heartening to be able to see people doing that sort of, you know, using that sort of almost low tech technology to then put it into their music. Good day. I had a slight issue getting back on the train because I got stuck at Westbury, and then I was going to have to wait an hour, so I ended up having to get a taxi back to Frome. But that's got nothing to do with Machina Bristonica. That's to do with the British railway system. Sunday morning, back on the train again. This time I got picked up by my friends Ken and James. Thank you very much, guys, for picking me up from the station. So I didn't have to actually walk. And then we walked through a nice park to document where Machina Bristonica was. Didn't do any of the actual talks this time. I did try to go into one of the data rooms, and I quickly realised that it was all about modular. And that's not my interest really. So I did walk in, I sat down, suddenly realised it was all going to be about modular for the next hour, and quietly left before it started. So if modular is your thing, the data stage is the place to go, really. Like I say, enjoyed bumping into old friends time and time again. And actually, the food was really good this year. It was good last year. There's plenty there. The prices on the food are slightly, well, they're sort of usual festival prices. So, you know, £4.50 for a punnet of chips, really, which you could argue is a bit on the pricey side. I don't know how much some of the other stuff was.
It's three legends of the internet themselves. Hi, JC.
Would you like a chip?
I would not, thank you very much. I'm just about getting back up.
Hello,
Andy.
Hello everyone.
And Peter Coit. Right.
I had other food in my bag that I could eat when I was a bit peckish, really. Now, it finished at 6 o'clock both days, or the main area finished at 6 o'clock. What happened in where the live music was is that stayed on until I think it was 11 o'clock on the Saturday, and I think it finished about 7 or 8 on the Sunday. Now, interestingly, this year I didn't get to see any of the music really. You sort of have to walk through that to get to the main area, but I didn't stand and watch any of that. Now, the main reason for that is that what Machina Bristonica have done, and they did it last year, was they streamed the music live. So, and I'll put the link down below so that you can actually go and actually watch the live stream. What I don't know is how long the live stream is going to be up there for. But currently, most of the artists are up there. I don't think all of them are. Maybe there's more to come in a few days. So I'm going to actually go back and look at the concerts, which to me seemed a better way of being able to watch it, because there was so much other stuff going on over the 2 days that's a decision that I actually made. I mean, sadly, I thought for some of the artists, they didn't have a lot of that much big of an audience. You had people sort of coming in and going out again. So maybe other people did the same thing as me, and that they decided to watch it as a live stream. But certainly, I will go back and I will watch over the next few days, or for as long as I can. I will watch the live streams of those concerts. Now, just my only other big bugbear last year was price. Now, I bought my ticket in January, so January 2025 when they first came out, and I bought so the weekend early bird ticket was £54.20, which I think is about the same sort of price as last year, about 2024. Now, I'll be honest with you, I think that I've almost gone back on what I said last year. I actually think for that and for the amount of work that the guys put in and the way the whole thing looks, and there's so much going on, 50 odd quid for two days seems fairly reasonable to me. And I did ask a friend how much it was to go to Super Booth. I think it's €100, but that's for 3 days for the whole weekend. And he did say to me that even if you buy a ticket when you get there, it's still €100. So there's none of this sort of early bird business and all the rest of it. I'm just going to read you out how the Machina Bristonica pricing works. So, as I've said, early bird £54.20. The general release, which I can't remember when they released it, went up to £65.30. The final release was £76.30. And then if you walked in on Saturday morning, and these are all the weekend tickets, so if you walked in on Saturday morning, it was going to cost you £87.40. So, which I think, I'll be honest with you, I think it's really quite pricey. It's almost twice the price. So, my recommendation was, and I will be doing it as soon as the tickets are available, buy your ticket. I don't know, I think there was a way of trying to sell your tickets on. I remember when I saw you only can get to see your tickets 24 hours before or 48 hours before. And I think there was something about if you weren't going to be able to go, to try and resell your ticket, but don't quote me on that. Now, under 12s go free, which is lovely. Now, but 12 to 17-year-olds, and they only seem to be a weekend ticket here, and this could be quite expensive, which was £32.10. So if you've bought a weekend ticket and you want to take your 13-year-old, it's going to cost you another 32 quid. Again, seems a bit pricey, So, I mean, overall, getting early is definitely worth it if you get the early bird. But like I said, some people might not be able to do that. Jason, who does the podcast with me, he bought a weekend ticket. He didn't buy it at early bird. I think he bought it at general, so he paid 65 quid. He couldn't go in the end, and I don't think he was able to sell his ticket on. So that can happen, which is a bit of a shame, really. anything else. I think I've covered it all. So, no, I thought the whole thing was brilliant, fantastic. Can highly recommend it. Be prepared for the noise. Take earplugs. Take some of your own food and that sort of stuff. Take a bottle of water with you. I took a bottle of water both days. But you know, it was a great weekend, really, and it was lovely to see all my friends again. So thanks so much for watching. There's stuff coming out all the time. We've got next couple of days there will be an Audiophile Radio Show dropping on streaming platforms so that you can listen to some great new music. And we've got a lot to cover in this. That'll be the 1st of October. Got a new release on the 1st of October, the Azimuth Tilts album out on Bandcamp. That will be linked down below. Have a listen to that, see what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe and all that sort of business if you fancy it. See you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.